Hey guys, today I want to talk to you about immigration changes to the immigration law, and some changes to how they do business and how they are enforcing some laws here in the Philippines. Now, all over the internet, people are talking about some changes to the immigration law. Well, these aren't changes. There was a memorandum sent out, and a lot of people have gotten hold of this, and they're making a big deal out of it. So let's go over it and see what it has to say. It was dated the 26th of July, 2024, five-part memorandum. And the first part of it, which is the most important to us as holders of tourist visas, this has to deal with extensions. They want employees at the immigration, their employees, to carefully interview applicants to verify their reason for extending their stay, their itinerary, their full address, their activities, and document the same. Now, with the tourist visa, and they're talking here about the TVV, which is a temporary visitor's visa, the 9A, which is a tourist visa. It's what most of us have when we come here to the Philippines. It used to be you just go in, you fill out the form. Here in Dumaguete, the guard filled out the form for me. I would go in, I would pay the fee, and I would get my extension. Nobody asked any questions or anything. Now I think they want their employees, they want to enforce the rules on the administrative side. They want their employees to conduct an interview. They want their employees to make sure the address is a complete and full address. Maybe they'll ask for a contact phone number. They want to make sure that application is completely filled out. I used to put down my address as being Bampandan, which is a barangay of Dumaguete. So my application address was Bampandan, Dumaguete, Negros Oriental, Philippines 6200. Well, now they want a more in-depth address. And my understanding is going to be is if you don't have a house address, which a lot of places here don't have, a street name or even a house address, they're going to ask for a landmark. They're going to ask for something so they know roughly where you live. And they're also going to ask for your phone number. And I'm going to give you a story of a gentleman that I met about a year ago at immigration. And he got to the window of the immigration. The lady took his passport and his application, and she asked him for his address. And he said, I don't have an address. Let me have your contact information, which would be a phone number. He said, I don't have a phone number. I'm not giving you my phone number. He was acting almost like a sovereign citizen acts in the U.S. when confronted with authorities about, identifying themselves, giving their name and their address. Well, in this case, the lady, she asked 2 or 3 times. I was sitting, I was third in line to be waited on, and I was listening to this, and everybody in the room was watching it, and he refused. And then the commander of the post came and sat down in front of him and said, I need your address. The guy told him, I don't have an address, I cannot give you an address. And when he asked him for the contact number, he said, I don't have a phone number, I have no number for you to contact me. Well, the commander just took the passport, folded it up, handed it to him, and said, your extension is denied. We are visitors in this country. You need to obey the laws, the regulations, fill out the forms that they need. And now it looks like this memorandum is just to have the employees enforce these rules, which is to have a complete application form. Now, if you can do your extension online, you're not going to go through any of this. None of this affects you at all because you answer the questions online and you pay for it online and you receive your extension. If you go into the office, the people in the office have to interview you, and it's not a long, in-depth interview. They're just going to ask you a question like, you want an extension for what reason? And being that you're a tourist, you just tell them, I'm not done traveling yet. And maybe they'll want to see a lease that you live somewhere. And you're going to say, yeah, I live here. You show them the lease. And you say, I live here, but I travel. I still want to go see Boracay. Just tell them I still want to travel. You don't have to go into in-depth explanation what you're doing, but tell them that you're still a tourist and still checking out the country. If you have a girlfriend that you're living with, maybe have a photograph on your phone, you know, a couple selfies of you and the girlfriend. Explain to them why you're staying in the Philippines, but don't tell them I'm staying because I invested in a business and I'm running the business, or don't tell them that I got a job. Those are two no-nos here in the Philippines. But the next part of this memorandum, they're asking the employees to do a document review, ensure all submitted documents are authentic and complete, require all applicants to properly fill out the application forms, and put in writing for their requests for extension. And again, your request for extension is, I'm still traveling and visiting your country, you know, and that's about it. It's the form you fill out. We've been filling those things out half-ass since I've been here. You know, you've just been putting your name, your passport number on there, your cell phone number, a quick address, and turning it in. And they've been stamping it, and now it looks like their bosses in the main office want them to do a thorough job and make sure they have all the documents are filled out and they verify the documents. They also want the employees of the immigration office to do a records check. You know, conduct a system check. You know, just go on the computer, type in the guy's name, his visa number, his tourist visa number, maybe if he has an ACR card, his ACR card number, and run a check to make sure he's not wanted, make sure everything's good. They want the people, they want their employees at immigration to deny your request if you're suspicious. If the documents don't match up, you know, your address that you give them is nowhere, you know, and your phone number, you don't have a phone number, you don't fill out the documents completely for them, they have the right to deny you. And if they feel that you're suspicious, maybe you're up to no good, they just get a bad feeling, they can deny you on the spot. What they have to do after they deny you, they have to report to their commissioner that they've denied you. So, you know, a further investigation can be conducted. But this has always been part of their job, is to make sure everything is done right. And I really don't think it's anything to worry about on our part as the visitor here. I don't think they're after people not to let them stay in the country after a year or 2 years. But I do know of one case, Jeff. He was living here in Dumaguete when I got here. He left the country for his third year. You know, you were allowed 36 months. Then you had to do a visa run. You had to leave the country. And then when you came back, you started all over. You got your tourist visa and you started day one, and you went through the whole process and had another 36 months. He was denied entry. And he told me, he's here now, but he was denied entry at the time. He was denied because the immigration at the airport said, you were here 36 months and then you left for 1 day and you came back. You should apply for a different visa. You're not here on a tourist visa. You know, you're not a permanent resident. You need to apply for the permanent resident. So, but Jeff left and he went back to the US for a couple months, and then he filed for a tourist visa with the embassy and he came back. And he's here again on a tourist visa. But it's up to the immigration officer at your port of entry or at any immigration office if they're going to extend you on your tourist visa. That's a courtesy. There's no law saying they have to extend you. And I'm watching as Marco is in office now, he's making all the government agencies enforce their own internal rules, like the LTO. They're cracking down on registration of the cars and the motorbikes. They're cracking down on no driver's license. And they're speeding up the process of getting your car registered. You know, when you buy a brand new car or a motorbike, when I first got here, it was 2, 3, 4 month wait to get the registration. They're getting faster about it because they're getting pressure from Manila to be more efficient in what they do. And internally, their office, the rules and regulations within the office they want their employees to start enforcing them. So it might be an inconvenience to us that we have to fill the form out nicer, we have to write it out neater, and get our visa extended. Remember, it's a courtesy to get your visa extended. And I knew this one guy who had part ownership in a restaurant in Behold, and they deported him because he was working here on a tourist visa. So, you know, there's 3 stories there, different people, different ways how they act, that immigration does not have to give you your extension visa. If you've had any problems with immigration, getting your visa extended, leave a comment below. Let me know what it was. I went to the Bureau of Immigration website and I picked out some cases where they were detaining people and refusing to extend them. And most of them are being held in jail. They're not in jail like a prisoner, but they are. And they're being held in detention based on some of these factors. And here are the main factors. People get their visas denied and get deported out of the country. Overstaying, working without the appropriate visa, permits, violations of conditions and limitations on their visa. You know, there's a lot of visas, like the tourist visa, you're not allowed to work in the Philippines. You're not allowed to hold a job. And a lot of guys have jobs where they start a business with their wife and their girlfriend, and they're the manager. You know, they sit in the corner of the coffee shop or the restaurant or the bar, and they're managing the place. Now, they could easily say they're not, but if you get a disgruntled employee, you get a disgruntled Filipino, or even a disgruntled foreigner, and they turn you into immigration saying, hey, this guy is working at X company X as a manager. Maybe you're serving a beer to somebody, maybe you're cooking the meals, maybe you're a baker or a cook, and you don't have the proper permits and you don't have the proper visas. You can be deported for all this stuff. And posing a clear and present danger to the public welfare. And that goes to you guys who are just not good guys at all, man. You know, if you've done some bad crimes in the past, you know, you do a bad crime here, you're habitual, you know, so you get picked up for drunkenness and lewdness more than one time, they're going to figure you're a danger to the public. A reckless driver, you get in too many accidents, you know, so many different things. You get in fights with the locals, you're just not a good guy. You know, they don't want you here. They can detain you, they can put you in detention while you get a lawyer and try to fight it, and then at the end they will deport you. And in all cases, overstaying, working without a permit, you know, breaking any terms and conditions on your visa can get you sent out of the country and can get you blacklisted. So be careful. You know, don't think you're smarter than the average bear here. You know, the Philippines is going onto a computer system. In immigration now with the online extension, it's freeing up a lot of time in immigration. They're following through on a lot of stuff. You're seeing more and more guys getting picked up for overstay. You're getting to see more and more people be sent out of the country. And not so many, I'm going to say Americans, Canadians, Westerners, but man, there's a shitload of Chinese being thrown out of this country constantly. And every day you're reading about someone trying to get into the country and they have a warrant in their home country and they're being denied entrance into the Philippines. Or they might have had a sex crime or something in their home country, and the Philippine government doesn't want you here. They're getting on top of their job here. The computer system is working. They're really researching, and immigration is really clamping down on people who shouldn't be here. So if you're here on a tourist visa and you think you're going to live your 3 years here, then go get another tourist visa and stay another 3 years, you probably can do it. But there's going to be some cases where you can't. It's better to get the proper visa. If you're married or you have a girlfriend, get married and then get a 13A. Or get the retirement visa if you're 50 or older than 50. If you've been in the military, it's a great retirement visa, the SRRV for veterans. It's only $1,500 that you put in the bank as a deposit. and $1,400 application fee if you do all the work yourself. Or you can check with Heidi down at C&G Consultants. I'll leave a link to her website down in the description below. You know, give them an email, but get the proper visas. It isn't so much that they're coming after us and saying, hey, we're not going to extend your visa. It's more they're telling the people in their office, do your job. Do your job. Your job is to make sure the form is filled out right. Your job is to verify the documents. Your job is to run a systems check on the guy when he comes in to file for an extension. And your job is to ask him why they want an extension to begin with. Make sure you just tell them you're still a tourist. Don't tell them you're running the bar down on the corner. You know, so think in the interview, give as little information as possible, but give them all the information they need. Again, I think a lot of these things are internal memorandums. Making the employees do a better job, just do their job. You know, we see how bad it is in the bureaucracy here at the LTO when you go get driver's license. You know, sometimes you want to use a fixer because you don't want to deal with everything. But I think in the long run, the Philippines is trying to streamline everything, and it's going to take them a long time, and probably not in my lifetime, but they're going to streamline this and make everything quicker and easier for the average Joe. But just dot your I's, cross your T's, mind your P's and Q's, and enjoy your life here in the Philippines. Have the right visa. Don't overstay. Whatever you do, don't overstay.